Yeah, a lot to unpack there. Not really worth unpacking. It's just too insane. You have to recognize what to pull away from this is that she was going on an unhinged racist rant. Point. We are getting something entirely different with Erica, especially white male men. It's just that's so dumb. I'm so tired of dumb. As a nice looking white boy with the cameras, can I make Mexican jokes? Can I make Puerto Rican jokes? I want to be on record. I hate everybody. You know what I mean? People tend to marry their IQ. You see two black people together, oh, it's because they are two black people, but actually they are probably better matched based on their IQ. Again, it's Laura Loomer, so don't just take it with a grain of salt, take it with a grain of crack cocaine. But is she now threatening them? I'll post your grandkid, your father, your mother, your... Lori Francevay, right? She's been married 4 times that I can see. Erica's father, Kenneth Francevay, newspaper relic announcing her birth. Breaking the law and committing fraud is something that Lori's family is kind of historically known for. Lori Francevay was born Loretta Abbas. She was named after Syrian grandmother Loretta Abbas, Erica's great-grandmother who died in 1990. Learned that Erica was born at the Good Samaritan Hospital graciously gifted by the Marine Corps. Far, Carl Kenneth served in the Army. Lori and Kent Francevay, as we learned, were married in Marblehead, Massachusetts. But today, I would like to discuss with you guys Kent Francevay's first wife. We showed you this photo of her in the first grade. Lori and Kent's divorce documents. Erica's mother, Lori, has always used an Erpenbeck brother. Rick Erpenbeck is his name. His brother Bill trying to kill his sister. I won't stop. No.
Stop.
It's a no from me. Won't stop until I get what I want. When I am satisfied, I will communicate that. Either way, that is a type of blackmail in my view. That's a type of emotional blackmail. Okay?
Just real quick.
Yo there, neighbors. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Edie. I'm so sorry for the delay. Let me tell you what has happened. First of all, I told you I was running to the store. If you saw my post, I was running to the store and then I had to get gas and I had to feed the puppies. Let me just tell you that the people at the gas station are so nice. Wawa, shout out, Wawa. Whole Street, hi, how you doing? 2 gentlemen behind me, they were together. They were talking to me about my snacks, and I had a $20 bill, because I don't have cash ever, but I don't know why I had this $20 bill. Anyway, I was like, let me just, I don't like to always use my debit card at the pump. I said, let me just pay $20 for my gas. And the gentlemen, they were like, let us take care of your snacks and your gas, $20 on pump 4. What? You know what? I let them. They were such gentlemen. They weren't rude. They weren't crude. They weren't, you know, they were just so nice. And they were talking to me about my snacks. They paid for this. Isn't that nice? Girls, we have to learn to accept nice things. I put it in the freezer when I got back while I was doing my chores, and so now it's a little bit frozen. And so a big chunk of ice just... Anyway, how is everyone? I promised a double feature the other day, and it didn't happen. And I'm so sorry about that. I've been very distracted, and I'm scatterbrained. Okay. Rocky's eye. It's still, you know, please continue to pray for him because he goes back to the vet on Monday. And I'm really worried about it because he can't withstand eye removal surgery. I couldn't withstand. I can't even bear the thought. He's just going to have to live with the eye. I mean, if Ray Charles can do it, he can do it. Remember the movie Ray? Right, and we saw it. But not only is Rocky's eye still exploded, my mother, her eye basically exploded. What? The same eye? She brought me a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Thank you, Mommy. And she took off her sunglasses. And I said, hello, demon. What has happened? What has happened to your eye? She asked me to go to the doctor with her on Monday. I took 5 hours of flex time and she never arrived. I called my stepdad and he said, well, she's not here. She left to get, she was going to pick me up because she wanted me to ride with her. So I was waiting outside. And my stepdad was like, she's already on her way there. I said, okay, well, my mother, if she says she's going to be at your house at 9:30, expect her there at 8:30 because she's always afraid she's going to be late even if it's just up the road. So I was out there waiting. Okay. And I said, well, this is not like her. So I waited. I was like, you know, maybe she got a new car. Maybe she's going slow. I don't know. I waited and I waited and I waited some more. And she never showed up. And then a cardinal showed up. I don't believe in signs. I don't. But let me tell you, I had such an ominous feeling because this was out of character for Nancy. Okay. And the cardinal showed up. And I said, oh, dear God, Father God, she's come home. She's come home. So I immediately left. Okay. And I started retracing all of her steps. I went the way that she normally goes to get to my house, which is the way I normally get. I have my hazards on because I'm going slow. I drive all the way to her house. My stepdad is there. Of course, he can't leave. He's paralyzed on one side. Veteran. Thank you for your service, Dad. I was like, did she leave the name of the doctor? No. Did she leave her phone? Well, I think she turned it off. Yes, she did turn it off. I didn't know if maybe she put it in the microwave again and turned it on. I never found her. I even logged into her bank and credit card accounts to determine her last purchase, to see if I could locate the doctor via the copay information, but I guess she don't have a copay. God bless her. Anyway, that really put a damper on the rest of the Monday, and then I had to make up that time. It was flex time. It was not PTO. I'm not wasting my PTO. No, I saved that, not for death, but for laying out with my Jackie. So I've been making up time this whole week, and now I'm alone, and it's fantastic, and I'm filming. Okay, things are happening in Candyland. Oh yeah, they're happening in Candyland. Did everybody see Artie's episode? I was watching it as I was getting ready. He has the receipts. Let me tell you who I love. Jay Wood, group therapy. I got my group therapy hoodie. The purple color is fantastic. And I got my obscure YouTuber t-shirt. I haven't made it into a halter yet because of the reasons I've already listed. I've been talking for 6 minutes and 7 seconds. Clean it up. We're racking. Anywho, Artie did a great episode. I love Artie, Bronson, Cinema Shogun, Lisa Knows, Gary, Pearman Tactic, Jay Fathom, Shady Lady Katie, The Eclectic Journalist, everything, everyone, Colleen on X. Girl, I love you. We have such a great little community. I had a whole long list. Anyway, fantastic episodes. Everybody's been commenting. There is such great commentary everywhere. The Lady Luck Club woman is we're collabing probably next week. I joined the live chat yesterday for her episode. She was talking about the new lawsuit against Candace. How many lawsuits are there? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be this happy about a lawsuit. But I am. Oh, I'm happy. Oh, yeah, baby. Little things. Gotta get excited. Lady Luck. I will never get tired of hearing her laugh. She has the best laugh. I cannot wait for the collaboration. And she's been put on notice by Candyland Backer Babe. 7,000 to cease and desist, so be on the lookout for that. Chicks on the right also need to be on the lookout. I think that's my car alarm going off. They can have the car at this point. I'm not abdicating my throne. I'm getting this video done. Okay. All right. It was literally in the freezer for 20 minutes. I didn't even get those gentlemen's names. If they ever see this, thank you for paying for my gas and my snacks. The slushie, my Almond Joys, and the Boston cream donut. I don't need any judgment. Later on, I'm making bang bang chicken and shrimp for myself. And I think I'll do a little food tutorial. I haven't done one of those in a while. Things are looking up. You know, God is always good. God is always good. Good news. Jesus Christ, who is God incarnate, born of a virgin, walked this earth sinless, tempted as we are, but never sinned. Took a punishment, a horrible, gruesome, grotesque punishment. He was tortured. He was tortured and mocked and ridiculed. And he hung up on a cross and he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And he died on that cross. A punishment that we are all worthy of. We're all worthy of death and hell. Because the wages of sin is death, and God is not a man that he should lie. And Jesus Christ was buried in a tomb, but on the third day, that tomb was empty. He's not here, he is risen. People testified to seeing him, being with him, talking to him, eating with him. He ascended to the right hand of the Father where he now reigns. He is coming back soon. And nobody knows when. Nobody knows the date or the time. So just be ready. God is always good, and he will always get you through. And if you think you're in a slimy pit, you might very well be in a slimy pit. But guess what? He will, you call on him, and he will bring you out of darkness. He will. He will reach down and grab you because he knows those who are his. And he says, no, that's mine. and darkness will not overcome her or him. God is always good. Okay, 10 minutes, 46 seconds. This is just going to be a long video, so get a snack. First thing we're going to watch is my girl Erica and her Rhythm Nation address. Yes, honey, when I tell you I was yelling, yes, girl. Looking fly? Yes, honey. She's like a fly. You guys ever used to watch In Living Color? This is giving In Living Color, Janet Jackson. Remember when Jennifer Lopez was a fly girl? A silk blouse, the black freedom hat. She got her husband over her shoulder. Yes, sitting next to his chair because that was her husband. She's in his office. Baby doll, I'm here for this. When I tell you, girl, let's just let her hit it, girl.
It seems to me that nothing will ever be enough for the evil in this world. Our country has become unrecognizable. These people have perverted the truth to the point that they motivated the murder of my husband. They have continuously tried to assassinate the president, and anyone who stands in their way is labeled hateful, racist, fascist, and every other trigger word that is grossly dishonest. We want the best for our country. They don't. This is why Charlie started Turning Point USA in the first place. He didn't trust the radicalized liberal teachers. And this past Saturday, it was a school teacher, of all people, a school teacher, that attempted to change our history for the worst with bullets. And everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me, and I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me? So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me. She introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself." And I said to her, "You know what's so interesting? This is my first time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up, and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech. And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you." To which she replied, literally, she said, "I know. Isn't it special, right? Isn't tonight so special?" And following that conversation, it was time to take our seats, and we went into the big ballroom where the dinner was. And one of the first things I noticed when I walked into that room was quite literally the proximity of the opposing outlets to one another. So you have one table here that's Politico, and another table here that's Fox, and another table here that's WAPO, and you're all crammed together, elbow to elbow. And to make the night even more of a spectacle, every single 10-person table had 10 bottles of wine. And the president of the White House Correspondents Association, she did a great job of trying to make the evening have that feeling of Americana. You know, we were in a room celebrating freedom of speech despite our differences. And the U.S. Marine Band performed the national anthem so beautifully. And then shortly thereafter, gunshots rang out and total chaos ensued. And you guys have all seen what happened next because there are 1,000 videos of it. So let's discuss that fact for a second. If you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were, or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos. And so during an active shooting, these journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips. They were so concerned about getting a video in a room with an active shooter that they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot. Many of those people have become so desensitized that fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story, which ironically breaks the number one rule of journalism. And again, ironically enough, the shooter was a teacher. You have these people who are supposed to be teaching our children the future of this country, and he's so unhinged that he is able to teach children by day and then attempt to murder the president of the United States by night. And in his manifesto, he starts by contextualizing himself by saying, "I am a citizen of the United States of America." And while we may have big problems with illegal immigration in this country, I have to tell you, we have an even bigger problem when it comes to the systemic indoctrination and radicalization of our own citizens. This is what got my husband killed. This is what has led to 3 legitimate attempts on President Trump's life. And I can speak firsthand to that unbearable toll that this must take on our First Lady. There has never been a president who has faced this many assassination attempts in Americans' entire history. And after each one, the reaction from the far left has been, at best, a shrug, and in some cases, a sick disappointment that the shooter was unsuccessful. We are all human beings. And if you can just pause and just take a minute and ask yourself, how would you feel if even just one person made cruel jokes about the attempted murder of your loved one? That is what Jimmy Kimmel did to the First Lady. He said that she had the glow of an expected widow. The glow of an expected widow. Just 48 hours before that nightmare almost became a reality. And this culture we're living in absorbs disagreement as a form of personal betrayal. It turns having an opposing viewpoint into a moral crime worthy of punishment. And here's what I've realized through all of this, truly, having lived through quite literal hell these past 7 months, if you strip someone of their humanity long enough, you will arrive at the chilling conclusion that they don't deserve to exist at all. Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on. There is a serious epidemic of dehumanization plaguing this country. The most unthinkable tragedies have now become commonplace in our daily headlines, and yet the media finds a way to conveniently explain away violence. This is what we're up against. This is what we're up against. What is happening right now is something none of us can afford to ignore. The evil forces working to divide us, to distract us, and to pull us apart has never been stronger. This is a moment for Americans to come together and decide what kind of country we are going to be before we lose our country altogether. In Romans chapter 12, verse 21, it says, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." And this is why my husband created Turning Point USA, so we could have civil discourse and debate and open dialogue, because when we stop talking to each other, bad things happen. I am choosing to fight for America, for my children, for your children, and for our humanity, because we all need to do our part. And by the grace of God, we will succeed, and America will remain what she was always called to be, a shining city on a hill, a light to the world. So let me give you a perfect example of how it's done. My husband did it best and left us the blueprint on how to have uncomfortable conversations with those who disagree. Buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
This woman. Yes, girl. We're all tired of her. We're all tired of Candace. the poison, okay, the fire starter. But for her, this would not be happening, okay? And it's looking more and more like she is affiliated some way with Tyler Robinson. I mean, don't be surprised if we find evidence that they were in cahoots together. I'm just saying, when I saw what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, first of all, the memes of Trump, the gifts, everything, like just showcasing how fantastic he is. Savage! That man is protected. Father God, we thank you so much for protecting our leader. It doesn't matter how you feel about that. He doesn't deserve to die. He doesn't deserve to have shots fired every few months at him. No. And if you believe he does, you should be ashamed. And I pray that God grants you repentance. I do. I do. I love that Erica went. I think she looked angelic. She looked absolutely stunning. Everyone coming for her, again, I pray that God grants you repentance. I'm not even going to waste my time talking about you foul-mouthed individuals. The footage of her leaving, and she said, I just want to go home. I cried. I started immediately crying because I knew all she wanted in that moment, well, forgive me, was Charlie, right? She would have been there with Charlie, and he would have protected her. And she just wants to go home. But she meant that, like, I want to go home, I want to be with my kids, but I want to go home. My home that I knew, with my husband, my safe zone. Oh my gosh. I was distraught and so angry. And I thought to myself, she's a one-woman show. I mean, yes, she has people around her, but like in those moments, you want your protectors. She probably wants her, not only Charlie, she wants her mother, and her mother's not, like, she's taking care of her mother. Erica has a lot on her shoulders, and she's maintained grace and composure these entire 7 to 8 months. And I'm sick of everybody giving her crap. You're jealous, seething with jealousy, you're full of demons, and you need to repent, and you need to stop watching people like Candace Owens, okay? And Ian Carroll, and Baron Coleman, and all the other foul idiots. Okay? I'm just giving it to you straight today. Giving it to you straight. Tell me what you thought of Erica's speech. Candace, she's not happy. She's not happy. She did her little reaction in her frill neck lizard top, coming back from Italy. And she said, I never said that. And today she's even more mad because she thought about it. Because she's a malignant narcissist. So it's gonna fester inside of her. The fact that she was called out. The fact that everything that she's worked on, the entire narrative, is unraveling. Okay? Because every lie will be exposed. It just takes time. She can't stand it. She said, I never said that you murdered your husband. Okay. If I were to say to you, you are manipulative, impulsive, you have superficial charm, you have no ability to empathize, have a grandiose sense of self, pathological, just downright bad, what have I called you? What does that describe, right? I didn't use the word psychopath, but I just described you as a psychopath. When she refers to Erica as a black widow, she says things like, Charlie was betrayed by everyone, those closest to him. When you do a series called The Bride of Charlie and dissect every element of Erica Kirk's life, try to make her and her entire family seem like crazy, kooky killers, whores, liars, nefarious fools who like to gamble and go to casinos and buy guns to kill. And when you say Erica Kirk should be dragged into a police precinct, why, what? You are insinuating that Erica had a hand in her husband's death. You idiot. The queen of projection. Candace always likes to say, they think we're stupid, right? You think we're stupid? You think we're not going to catch on? Do you think we're stupid? Do you really expect everyone, aside from Baron Coleman, to believe that you have never insinuated that Erica Kirk murdered her husband, Charles Kirk? Do you think that we are stupid? It is painful to watch her react to that text message that was leaked by Andrew Colvett. Andy's redeeming himself with me. You know, I didn't like him. I still don't like Jack Posobiec. He and Candace are in cahoots, I'm convinced. When she said it was an obvious joke, why on earth are you joking about your best friend's death? Why are you joking about it, though? Oh my gosh, if anybody else had joked about this, you'd have been like, I don't see the joke. And we know that you weren't joking, Candace. You are calculated, you are manipulative, you are wicked, and everyone is finding out. I have nothing but good things to say about Erica. I love that woman. I want to be her friend, okay? I just want to tell off everyone who is mean to her. I know she doesn't need me to, because guess what? She's got the Lord on her side. My sister in Christ, Erica Kirk, you just stay strong, honey. God will get you through. Stay hot. Keep doing your makeup, girl. Keep wearing those silk blouses, okay? And the leather pants. We all love the leather pants. Yes, girl, I wish I could wear leather pants. Are you kidding me? If I had Erica's legs, I'd be walking around like my hair. Let's move on to a little clip of Candy from today talking about her lawsuit brought to her by Brian Harpole.
First and foremost, I woke up this morning and I was highly upset. I had a little bit of a yesterday news hangover. I realized that I'm actually so not okay with what Erica Kirk did. She essentially put a target on my back by wrongly asserting that I accused her of murdering her husband. I don't think we can let that fly, right? No, her punishment is going to be more truth. I always say she is sentenced to more truth. And I have been keeping a little secret, and it's time for me to reveal it. Me and my lawyers received an email. It was randomly sent to us. It was something like a retraction demand, but it wasn't actually a retraction demand because his lawyer, Brian Harpole's lawyer, asserted at the top right away that they were already going to file the lawsuit no matter what in 4 days. This was kind of just a nice heads up that these are our claims that we will be making. What? How curious. What do you mean? You never communicated with me, never spoke, you never issued any sort of retraction demand, you never answered me when I reached out. This is not at all how it normally goes. I mean, I'm pretty accustomed to how lawsuits work. In fact, I can tell you that's never gone like this, ever, for me. You send, hey, that's what you said is not right. Retract it, or else I am going to sue you. Brian Harpole did no such thing. Okay, so before I tell you why I believe he is doing this, and again, this is my opinion, because this is a very curious strategy, I'm going to at first take you through some of the highlights of the demand, which was poorly organized, but it is really just kind of summarizes the actual lawsuit, which he has now filed. In other words, I want you to understand, he had the lawsuit prepared first before he sent me this notification type demand, okay? Pardon me. I also want to mention, because it feels important, that Brian Harpole is using the same lawyer the Daily Wire used to sue me in arbitration for 2 years straight. I'm not going to name the firm, even though the lawyer is publicly tweeting, and also has a YouTube channel, so it's not hard to find. But I will just say that's another coincidence. I'm very tired of this guy altogether, mostly because he speaks like he's consumed helium. Anyway, let's get into Brian Harpole's stated grievances, okay? First up, he wants to sue me. He's suing me for maligning him when I suggested, when I stated that not having an ambulance on standby is inappropriate. It's wrong. I'm not kidding. This is what was written. It reads, in your podcast episode titled, Why is Everyone Crashing Out Over the Charlie Kirk Investigation? You maligned Kirk's security team, including Mr. Harpole, by stating, quote, in real life, when you spend millions of dollars on security, on your security detail, they don't have you sitting like a duck and forget to have an ambulance behind you. This statement not only incorrectly calls into question the competence of Mr. Harpole and his team, but it defames Mr. Harpole by falsely accusing him and his team of criminal negligence by failing to render aid to Kirk after he was shot. Okay, so competence is a matter of opinion, Brian. I don't believe you can sue people for thinking that you're stupid or that you're ugly or that you're fat. I don't believe I can sue Trump for thinking Brigitte is the most beautiful woman in the world, more beautiful than me at the very least. It's not even close, as he says. And I don't think I can sue Trump for making the repeated claim that he views me as someone that is low IQ. So I don't know that competence is really a claim. Also, I would argue that it is almost a matter of fact that a security team that is paid many millions of dollars annually should have had an ambulance on standby at an event, especially when it was a part of their normal repertoire to do so. Is everybody forgetting? I used to work for Turning Point USA. I'm fairly certain that almost probably at each and every one of my many events that I've done with Turning Point USA.
Wait a second. Candace worked for Turning Point USA. I had no idea. Oh my gosh. Did you guys know that? It's just like brand new information.
Say during a time period when Brian Harpole was always a member of the security team, we had an ambulance on standby. So that actually felt exceptional to me. It's not my opinion that, it is my opinion that not having one on standby, especially when the person that you are providing executive protection to texts you guys the night before and says, I think I'm going to be killed. It's my opinion that it demonstrates professional incompetence not to have an ambulance on standby in case anything happens. Sorry, Brian. I most certainly did not accuse you of criminal negligence. That term did not come from this podcast. In fact, I hadn't even thought of that term until you put it all over a lawsuit. So we should just look that up and see what the definition is. I did. It says definition of criminal negligence is a reckless disregard for human life or a gross deviation from the standard of care that a reasonable person would observe, resulting in serious harm or death. Okay. Unlike civil negligence, it is a crime prosecuted by the state, often leading to imprisonment, involuntary manslaughter charges, or major felonies. Okay. Thank you for introducing us to that legal term, Brian. What else is Brian upset about? Well, I would argue that the next point actually demonstrates incompetence. Okay. Brian wants to sue me for something that I literally never said about him. It is, in your podcast episode titled Charlie's Angels or Demons, you implied that Charlie Kirk's security team, including Mr. Harpole, had insider knowledge about Kirk's assassination. Specifically, you questioned how the security team knew that Charlie Kirk was dead before official confirmation. The false and defamatory nature of the statement is obvious, as it implies that Mr. Harpole and his security team not only had foreknowledge of the assassination, but were also complicit in it. Want to know the truth? In that particular episode, we never mentioned Brian Harpole or referred to him even once. The episode, as it implies, is about specifically Charlie's chief of staff and Terrell Farnsworth, the head of the AV team. The specific quotation to which he's referring to is about Terrell Farnsworth, because it was Terrell Farnsworth who notoriously announced in a selfie video that Charlie Kirk was dead like 2 minutes after Charlie went down. So when no one could have possibly known Charlie was dead. Okay. My full quotation, which for some reason is not included, was, what were Charlie's closest friends and allies and the people that were going to carry on the torch at Turning Point USA doing? Oh, they were picking up phone calls like Mike and McCoy. They were already filming themselves prematurely announcing Charlie is dead, and not a single person could have known that Charlie Kirk was dead. End quote. That is a factual quotation referring to the immediate actions taken by Mikey McCoy and Terrell Farnsworth. Thank you, Brian. I hope that clears that matter up. What else do you have? It looks like this next one is a bit of a double punch. He wants to sue me for describing his outfit, foremost, you'll see. And then he wants to sue me for having ears and a general sense of comprehension, I guess. Like I'm able to comprehend the words that are coming out of people's mouths. I took notice that, as many people did, that there were conflicting statements made by Turning Point USA on that day. Now, there may be a valid excuse for those discrepancies in messaging. However, you cannot punish the public for noticing them. Okay, I'm referring to the drones. So this claim reads in your podcast episode entitled "The Great Exodus from Utah." You again falsely claimed that Mr. Harpole failed to render aid to Kirk after he was shot, but this time you incorrectly claimed that Harpole failed to render effective aid to Kirk with his supposed to be medical bag. Okay. Later in the episode, you falsely accused Mr. Harpole of lying about drone availability, asking, is that how these assassinations happen? Together, these statements defame Mr. Harpole by accusing him of being a direct cause of Kirk's assassination. Mr. Harpole did not play a role in Kirk's assassination and did everything he could to render aid and assist Kirk after he was shot. Okay, so to address that obscure medical bag claim, the full quotation from my episode is just a mere description of Brian Harpole and his medical bag. I said exactly, quote, Brian is the one who then runs over to Charlie. And again, you recognize him because he kind of has that small, supposed to be medical bag over him. I'm completely confused as to how that description is in any way defamatory. I just wanted to alert viewers to the fact that he was not just wearing a man purse and it was supposed to be a medical bag. That's it. Now, regarding the drones, Brian Harpole's statement flew in direct contradiction to the statements that was given by Frank Turek.
I had to stop it there because I just couldn't listen to her. But she goes on and on and on and on. She also goes on to reveal a secret that Mikey McCoy used a third party to get a message to Candace saying, you need to look into Andrew Colvett. I thought you didn't trust Mikey. Any evidence for that? Of course. Aw, she's a bumbling fool. She choked to death, nearly. Excuse me, sorry. She can't pronounce a darn thing. She's losing all control. It's glorious. Candace, you did defame Brian Harpole. Then you had your boy Mitchie. Come on. Okay, you don't forget eyes like that. You don't forget eyes like that with the ponytail. And I saw that guy. I saw that fella, and I know 98% sure, in the 90s percent sure that it was him. That it was him at that super secret meeting at the fort. You allowed Mitchell Snow, if that's even his real name, a lunatic, to come on your show and defame Erica Kirk and Brian Harpole. And that's after, yes, you insinuated that they failed him, that they were negligent in caring for Charlie. that they didn't render medical aid. I just have a question. For those watching, when you saw the video of Charlie get shot in the neck, did anyone think he was making it? It's seared into my brain, and it still causes me a great amount of distress when I remember just all of the blood coming out. Like, it... shut up, Candace. Shut up. They didn't render... Yes, they did. You saw them dive over the table to... As Charlie was collapsing. They swarmed him, right? They laid him down. They tried to pack the wound. We saw him be carried to the SUV. Oh my gosh. Candace, you're disgusting. She's so gross. We all need to pray for her. She is so disgusting. And that chicken's come home to roost. This is glorious. I just cannot. When she said, take it from me because I know how lawsuits work. I'm skilled at lawsuits. That's not a flex, babe. You know how scared I'd be to get a lawsuit? So scared. What do I have to do to get out of this? What? Let's make up. Candace, it's not something to be proud of that you've had 8,500 lawsuits against you for the same thing. Stop running your mouth. Just zip it. Talk to your husband. My gosh. Somebody on X said you'd think her husband had one good boyfriend that would give Candace fashion advice. Anyway, okay, I'm going to go. I love you guys so much. All of my new and existing subscribers, you guys are the best. And you've gotten me through with your prayers, people sending me messages. Shout out to the Eclipse Truth and Stargazer. I really appreciate you guys checking on me. I appreciate your kindness and compassion. And most importantly, I appreciate your prayers because they work. I'm excited to be back with you guys. See you on Monday. I'm very happy. I haven't been this happy in a long time. Hey. Okay. I love you so much, and I will see you soon.